Hey, what's up guys? This is Dom from MacMixing.com, and today I want to show you a plugin called DrumSpillage. DrumSpillage is made by AudioSpillage, and it's actually an audio unit that you can use in software DAWs such as GarageBand or Logic, and it's pretty cool. It's a virtual drum designer that allows you to design up to 16 customizable pads of your own synthetic drum sounds. And from there you can actually take those and you can use them in beats, you can export them and upload them to an MPC, you can even import them in other sample sequencers such as Battery from Native Instruments. There's tons of different uses for this program, and it's pretty great because it allows you to really get creative with the sounds that you're going to use in your music compositions. So basically what we have here is the layout, and this is a pretty familiar layout for most of us that have worked with pad designers and drum pads. I like the fact that it's familiar, and right off the bat I already knew exactly kind of what was going on. But for some of you that may not be familiar with this, I'm actually going to go ahead and break all this down for you and explain how everything works and whatnot. Basically we have our pads here. Each pad already has a sound assigned to it. It's already set up with a custom sound just to give you a base, something to work off of, somewhere to go with it. So each pad here contains its own synthetic sound, and that should just give you a kind of a basis to work off of. You can do it from scratch, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's easier to build off of other sounds than it is to create your own custom sound. So let's go ahead and dive in here. The handy thing about this audio unit here is that when you hover over something for long enough, you have these little help messages that pop up, and that can be very helpful in case you don't know what's going on exactly. It'll actually tell you what the mute shortcut is, what the solo shortcut is. Right here to the left we have the tuning. This will actually allow us to pitch shift the pad, the drum itself. So we got that. Now let's turn it up a little bit. A little higher. A little higher. See, that'll actually let us tune the pad, give it more of a refined custom sound, especially if we're trying to do something in key with a song. That's very helpful. On the right here, we have our volume. And this is exactly what you'd think it is. It'll adjust the level of the volume, not for the entire audio unit here, but for the individual pad. So each individual pad has its own set of volume levels, and that can be extremely helpful when you're trying to mix down things. So now here on the side we have these four little boxes right here. The first one that's lit up is representing this pad right here that we can see. The second one represents our envelope attack and release, and all these controls, mind you, on the side are actually quick shortcuts to get to the full controls that I'm going to show you here in a second. We have our third pad. You can choose between your LFO, poly, your filter, distortion, everything like that. And then the fourth pad here, we can actually set the note that this pad triggers off of, so that you can play it on a MIDI controller or things like that. Now basically, like I said, we have the pad here. We have all of our pads. So what we're going to do is we're going to go inside of a pad and customize it. Let's just take this one down here. So what we can do here is we can actually click on this number right here, which actually corresponds to the number of the pad that you're working on. See, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so on and so on. Here's number 9 right here. If we click on that pad, it's going to take us into the model editor, which will allow us to customly define, I don't even know if customly is a word, but it'll allow us to define these custom variables for this pad right here. So if we go in here, we see we're presented with a skew of options. We have the pitch here, we have pitch settings, we have our OSC decay and our OSC mix, we have color, body, brightness. These are all basically synth settings, but they're presented in a much friendlier manner, in my opinion. Nothing looks cluttered to me, and everything's pretty easy to understand. We have envelope here that we can set. We have distortion, we have a filter we can set. And like I said, these are actually expanded controls of just these little shortcuts that you have here on the side. So if we're in here, we have in the top right corner our MIDI channels. We can set it to a certain MIDI channel. We can make sure the velocity sense is on, trigger lock, and we can even set the notes that the pad will trigger on. So this can be very helpful when you're trying to set up your drum controller or your keyboard. It'll actually allow you to more easily access the pad itself. What we can do here is under this model category right here. So basically what we can do here underneath the model is we can select different bass models to work from, like a bass drum or a handbell, or we can also select clave. There's all sorts of different bass models that you can build off of, and you don't have to use any of these exactly how they are. So let's take the bass drum for example. That sounds like a standard bass drum for us. But what we can do is we can actually completely change the sound of this kick drum, make it sound a lot different, as you can see. I'm going to leave it, let's see, let's get it where a little too low there. Alright, so we'll keep it right there. What we can actually do here, and like I said, if you hover over these, you can change the waveform of these just like you could in a lot of different other types of programs. They give it to you right here though in DrumSpillage. So as we're changing the waves, it actually is changing the sound when we're changing the waveform. And we can actually turn up the frequency of that and give it a completely different sound. Now, we also have our envelopes here. We can go in here, kind of adjust those, get something where we want it. And we have our threshold and our depth here. Now, what I like actually the most about this is that we have our envelope design here. And this can dramatically change the sound of what you're doing. Let's see, that's the sound I have right now, you guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stretch this out just a little bit right here. Completely extended the note. I can actually take this whole thing and extend it out. And it works pretty well to give you a nice custom sound there. The more I move this over, the more it changes the sound. And the more you change the envelope, the more it's going to change the sound too. I really love the envelope here because it allows us to get a visual on the attack, decay, sustain, and release. And it is really helpful when you're trying to kind of hone in on that custom sound that you're looking for. So basically what we can do here on the other side is we have our distortion. You have to flip it on by any of these actually. You can flip on or off by just hitting the little blue button or hitting the gray square. It'll turn on the blue little light there. Now, what we can do with this, I can turn up the distortion a little bit, turn up the filter level. Drive, let's get, see how it's starting to distort a little bit. Now, let's say I want to make this a little lower still. So, I'll go over here and turn down the pitch a little bit. So, I mean, already we've completely warped that sound, flipped a complete 180 with it. Same applies for like all these other, the synthetic clap, perfect example. So, basically what that did is that actually left our envelope down here the same, but it gave us a different set of parameters that we can customize, like the noise level, the speed, the shape, band 1, band 2, bandwidth, the ambience, the presence. Basically, that'll do that for all of these basic sounds, and we can leave our envelope the same and all of our distortion levels the same. So we can go through and actually test other sounds with the envelope settings down here. So basically, you have the option to do this for all 16 pads here, which is, I mean, it's quite amazing, really, because it gives you limitless possibilities. And like I said, once you're done recording in a sound, you can actually go ahead and let's see here. I have GarageBand open here. What you can do here is you can actually record it into GarageBand. So let's go ahead and record just one of these sounds into GarageBand real quick. Alright, so see, I just recorded a few sounds real quick just to kind of give you guys an idea. What we can do here is we can actually take this MIDI data here, and let's say I want to take this and put it inside of a different program. We can actually export this sound. That one little hit right there, we can export it and, I mean, use it in just about anything. which is great. I mean, most programs, they give you the ability to assign custom pads, but a lot of these audio unit plugins and instrument plugins don't give you the option to actually design your own set of custom pads, which is amazing if you ask me, having a digital synthesizer to design your own drums with. Let me show you guys real quick though how to get to it once you have it installed. I encourage you guys to go check out AudioSpillage.com, give it a gander, and maybe purchase it, and just kind of feel it out a little bit. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna unassign this, and I'm gonna delete this track here, and show you guys how to get it in GarageBand from nothing. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create a new track, and we're gonna create it as a software instrument. Now that's going to pull up a track here. As you're probably familiar with if you've used GarageBand or anything before, we have the option to add a different software instrument to this over here on the side. Well, what we actually want to do is, instead of selecting from these kits here and these instruments inside of GarageBand, we can go to Edit over here, the Edit tab, and go down to this little drop-down menu, and we can actually select any audio unit modules on our computer. Well, DrumSpillage happens to be one of them right there. I can go ahead and click on that. It's going to change the little icon to their logo, and we can open it up. And there you go, right there, you're already in it. Now, real quick, I just want to tell you guys something, because this always bothered me about GarageBand, is that the icons defaulted to like a grand piano, which doesn't make any sense when I'm using a drum machine here. But what you can do actually is if you go back to Browse, you can click down here, and you can change the icon to a whole, geez, I don't even know, there's like 50 of them here. You can change them to a whole different set of icons, whatever you want basically. I'm just going to choose a drum kit. That's how I had it before. But when you go back in here, if you want to pull up DrumSpillage again, you got to go back into Edit and click on the icon. That'll pull up the instrument again. And from there, you're pretty much set. All you have to do is hit record and start playing. And that's it. Real quick though, what I want to kind of show you guys again is just another quick overrun of this. So what we have here is the pad. On the side, we have the tuning, we have the volume, we have a solo button. If you click on here, we have the ability to load a pad with MIDI zone. We have ability to save pads. We can actually go ahead and save this pad as a custom preset. So that's pretty cool. We can copy pads. I'm going to copy this one here. I'm going to paste it here. So that made a duplicate of the sound. We can actually edit the pad, which will bring us to this edit module. You can also export the pad too. So instead of recording it into GarageBand and exporting it, or Logic and exporting it, you can actually just export it right from here, and it'll export that one hit for you. Let's go ahead and do this real quick. I'll just put it on my desktop and name it Kick. Alright, so let me pull up my window here, and we have Kick. There you go. Nice exported pad there. We can use that in just about anything. That's pretty cool. And we have our power button here. This will turn off and on the pad if you don't want to use it. Personally, if I don't want to use it, I won't hit the pad. But just in case you're working with keys and you don't want to hit things that are closer together to one another, that's pretty helpful. Or, like I said, you can always go in and change the MIDI note that it's triggering from. So that's pretty good too. At the bottom here, we have our volume levels, as you can see. And we also have panning right on the side here. And inside of our module editor, we have tons of custom settings. You guys, it's so easy to use for me because it's not all clustered like a lot of other synthetic drum designers. Some of the other ones that are out there, everything can be really tightly together. Everything can be really tightly squished together, and some things just aren't as easy and friendly to navigate through as this program has been for me anyways. And that's just my opinion, but I encourage you guys to go check it out. So we have DrumSpillage here. Like I said, it's made by AudioSpillage. Go check it out, AudioSpillage.com. You can use it in any software DAW that supports audio units, and it's pretty great. Thank you guys again. I hope this was helpful and informative for you. Be sure to check out macmixing.com for more audio production tutorials, reviews, anything Apple. I'm an Apple freak. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon.